Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextstepnick.com and today we're going to talk about Black Skylands Origins. So this is the first part of the Black Skylands game that's upcoming in the near future. First thing I have to say, the sound is lovely, check this out. I really love the sound design here, especially when you pair it with these really beautiful visuals. The game itself is really pretty, and I love what they've done with that. And I really like the story as well. I like this idea of floating islands in the future and different tasks on different islands. But at the same time, I feel like there's a couple of elements that need a little bit of work before the full game comes out, and this is one of them.
The scientists examine our world and develop the brand new technologies. The engineers are engaged in the assembly of weapons, ships, and machines for extraction of resources.
There's a couple of issues when it comes to voice acting where you can't always understand what's being said, and likewise, some of the wording is a little bit confusing at the moment. I'd say potentially look at that. Also, the NPCs.
Lorina fomo faso, de lo calistan certis.
Grimbelle mas, astelta, tolosa stirolats.
Pates mari of bonde famo pa, pari lazo certis eloma. Piano ser folo mas, dari folisa. Brindes folo sen, coponde famo pa, pari lazo certis eloma.
I don't know what they're saying. I'm not sure if that's a language that I don't understand, or maybe it's just the equivalent of Simlish. But I can't understand what they're saying, and they repeat these lines each as well, so it just ends up being a bit monotonous when you're clicking through dialogue. I'd say to have a potential look at that as well. The game itself though, really fun. I like the idea of having your own ship and being able to explore this wide open space, going to different islands and visiting them, but again, I wish that music played more of a part. There are moments where you feel like music would really fit and it's really obvious it's not there, and it would go beautifully with these visuals. Likewise, there's this really interesting building mechanic where you can kind of build things and build up farms and different things like factories, but there's just no music, and I'd love to hear some because it would really help with that sense of identity. I think the problem is because you spoil people with such a great soundtrack at the start, they expect it the whole way through, so that's a bit of an issue there. I'd say maybe address that and put a bit more music in. In combat, the music's great, and the combat itself flows really nicely. It's a top-down shooter style game, but you've also got a grappling hook that allows you a bit more mobility as you move around the map. You've also got the ability to pull people to you, pull cover in front of you, maybe use barrels and break them down and get items from inside. Really cool. You've also got the ability to roll out of the way, so you can kind of combat roll between things, you can dodge projectiles that way, make your way through puzzles. There's a lot of mobility options here which are really fun, just using the grapple and the roll and the shooting mechanics to make it just a really fun, fast experience. I really like what they've done here, and I think the game itself is very cohesive in the way that the art style lends itself to the gameplay. The music, when that's on, lends itself to the art style. Everything kind of fits together here. You can tell there's been a really good thought process behind each area. That being said, I think it's a case of just a little bit of polish needed here and there. For example, I love the way that the guns actually damage the enemies as well when it comes to the traps. But I feel like with the NPCs or with your own character, it would be nice to get a bit more story on them. At the moment, maybe in the main game you'll see a bit more, but my character is very much a tabula rasa. Like, I don't know anything about them, I don't really get any insight into who they are. I'm kind of just out on this mission straight away, and I'd like maybe something to just give me a little bit more information about my character's personality, his traits, who he is. I mean, you're part of one of the 3 groups that are introduced in this game. So you've got like the engineers basically, who are like the mechanics that build things like ships. You've got the scientists that are kind of researching things in the background and trying to understand the world. And you're an earner, so what you're trying to do is basically grow crops and make sure there's enough food. And there's a bit of backstory explained in regard to all 3 factions. But your character in himself is just basically blank. I'd like to know more about our character because he looks kind of unique. I'd like maybe if he was kind of breaking down that mould and being something a bit different rather than one of these 3 categories. The main premise is that you're kind of invaded by this force that have grown up in the desert, which is this really arid land, and they've learned how to fight there, and because of that they're kind of taking what they want from different groups, and now they've gotten to the stage where they're wiping those groups out and just taking their resources. It doesn't really make much sense though, because if you're not that great at growing things and you've got a load of people that are, I don't know why you'd wipe them out. You'd just sort of carry on with what you were doing, really. So maybe there's more to that. I think the story itself seems interesting. There's definitely a hook there. Get it? Like a grappling hook? No? Fair enough. But there's definitely something there that I think can be expanded on. And I like what I've seen of the game so far. I just think there are a couple of little things I'd change when it comes to, for example, the way in which the NPCs speak, and just have more of that beautiful music in here. It's really, really good music. Definitely pop it in there when you can, because I want to hear it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you have enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll catch you again very soon.